we've talked about this a little bit, but and you've used the word sustainability a lot, and that's a buzzword in this world, and it's an important word. I don't mean to discount it in any way, but in your work, how do you measure your impact, or how do you know that it's sustainable? How can you, what do you have that you can point to and say definitively our work is sustainable?
Yeah. In terms of sustainability, I think you could take a look at like our annual report and see how well the business is doing and how much we're able to invest in those projects. We collect a lot of data. We think data is very important. We have a data scientist on our team. And it's challenging because a lot of times when you see data from these types of projects, it's usually pretty inaccurate. But what we've found is that over the years, the more and more we're collecting data, the more accurate it becomes. So I think we're getting really good data right now on the projects. In terms of the projects we're doing in communities, we're seeing a huge amount of involvement of women who are becoming breadwinners in their families. When we build greenhouses now, about 80% of the people who manage those greenhouses are women in the family. We also see a lot of income generated from some of these projects, these agriculture projects, and that's data that's important to us. That's pretty straightforward. We're also trying to measure self-efficacy. We think that's very important. I think one of the biggest issues that farmers have is that they don't have very many economic opportunities. Well, they have economic opportunities, they just don't know how to get in front of them. And also there's low self-esteem. Like I said, that legacy of development, kind of westernization, exposure to the outside world is kind of been pounded in their head. Like, if you want to be successful as a human being, you need to make money, you need to have a car, et cetera, et cetera. You have NGOs or the government coming in and saying, you're poor, these are the issues we're having, we have all this funding to help these poor communities become not poor. And the definition of poor, like, don't even get me started on what actually is.
Yeah, give you a whole other conversation, I bet.
But one of the things we're trying to understand is how self-efficacy is changing through the programs that we're working with, because a huge priority for us is that we're focusing on the strengths of these communities and we're learning from them also. So every time we go into the community, we have a whole methodology and kind of pedagogy on how we work with farmers, especially campesino farmers, because what we do is essentially we offer agriculture extension. But the way we do it is in an inclusive manner where every farmer feels like they have something that they can teach us also. Like, we're not going there and just being the professor and telling them to do this or do that. It's really a collaboration. And we're trying to figure out how to collect data to show if farmers are, or how we're improving the self-efficacy of farming, how we're improving the confidence and their self-esteem, et cetera, because we think those are really important components to help these farmers thrive, is that their self-esteem is rising just as much as their income.